All right, we're going to do a bit of a longer video today. I've been at Whitebox, we're hiring, and so I've been giving people a code challenge to complete. This code challenge is basically given some JSON, build a single page application in any framework or non-framework of your choice. It's basically Whitebox is an e-commerce site, so it's a products view and then like a detail of the product, and that's basically it. So we're gonna clone down this project and take a look. So I'm on the GitHub page for the code challenge here. We should probably download it to start and just see what we're looking at here. So I'm gonna just copy this Git URL here, and I'm gonna pull up terminal and let's cd htdocs YouTube code challenge, and let's do git clone that thing, and let's call it like OG for the original files. Okay. Great. Let's go into OG here, and I think since this is all static, I don't think we actually have to do anything. Okay, so this is the site that we're going to be making. So it's like an e-commerce site, whatever. It's got a filter over here, some drop downs, whatever. These things. Then if you click these, it probably will take you to the detail page here. Okay, so this is generally what we're making. It doesn't have to look exactly like this. That's not the point. The point is to just make this into a single page app. Okay, so we are going to make two folders, a client folder and a server folder. Not inside of there. Let's make the server first. So I'm going to use koa-js for my server. It's just something I'm comfortable with. So where are we at? So right here. So we are going, let's do code dot. Let's open VS Code in this directory, just so that we can get started here. Okay, and we'll use the terminal here for the future of this. So let's cd into server, and let's npm init this thing, and we're going to say package name, code challenge server, version 1.0, fine, whatever, it doesn't matter. Great. Okay, cool. Awesome. Yes, that's fine. Okay, so we've got a package JSON here. Let's open this up so we can see it. All right, so we want to get koa. So I don't actually know the package name for koa off the bat. It might just be koa, but let's search GitHub for koa.js and just make sure we get the right one here. So let's see, koa. Koa.js. Is that the website? This is the website. It's not what we want. We want the framework itself. There we go. Cool. Okay. npm install koa. Great. Just wanted to make sure that's what it was. npm I -- save koa. Now, koa by itself does not have routing or cors, cross-origin request, and we need both of those because we're going to be writing an Ember app, and the Ember app is going to be on 4200, and this server is going to be on 3000. So because it's going to be cross-domain, we need a cross-domain stuff. So let's get the router first, which is npm I -s koa-router, and then let's get npm I -s. I think it's, let's see what it is real quick. So we want koa.js cors. koa-cors. So it's at koa. Let's just copy that here. That guy. Okay, great. Let's just copy their boilerplate for the cors stuff. We need to make, let's see, touch index.js. Great. Let's just get that in here, and then let's go to koa-router, which we already got, but let's just see how they want us to start that off. No sense for me remembering exactly how this works. Okay, koa-router here. Let's make sure we use const, and then new router. So const router equals new router, and then we can use we can just pop these in here as well. Great. And then we can just do a ctx.body equals working, not double quotes, working. great. And then use routes, allowed methods. Awesome. So that should be our server. So let's run it. So node index. Oh, I didn't use the end of it. So let's go back to koa-js for its initial usage, which is, where are you? Initial usage. No, I was just there. I want the repo. The repo has better information than the doc site for koa. All right, app.listen. That's the bit we're missing. App.listen 3000. Awesome. All right, let's run it again. Listing on 3000. I'm going to pull up Insomnia here, just something I'm testing next to, instead of Postman. Working. Great. So our server is working. So we're going to need 2 routes. If we look at our code challenge here, the challenge is to make 2 pages, products and a products all. So let's go ahead and make a /products route. And then that route, so we're going to, this JSON here, let's open this up. This is the JSON that we're going to be consuming, which is great. It's a list of products. But we need to make a request to this. We need to act like it's our database. So I'm going to bring in node request because I like that library. So, and I'm actually going to bring node request promise because I like my async await stuff. And even though it's not totally necessary here, it's going to be a nice thing to have. So it wants us to have both of these things. So let's just let's close the server, get these going, node request and request promise. And while that's running, we can say const request equals require request promise. And we don't want requires in the middle, so let's move that up here, bring that route down 1. Okay, great. So now we want to make a request to that JSON from the code challenge to bring that in. Let's just grab that. So let's just say const JSON equals request, and that's going to take an object. URL is going to be that. JSON is true, and this is async await, so let's make this an async function, and we will await this response. Thank you, async await, and then we will just body out the products. Save and rerun node index, and we'll rerun our API call. Not found, and that's because we changed it to the products route. We're not slash anymore. Okay, great. There is all of our products, and that is it for the products route. Let's make the single product route. So let's just copy this guy, and we'll say products /:ID, and that's going to be ctx.params.id. So we can say const, and we can destructure ID equals ctx.params. We need to do this again, and then we actually need to find in here the ID. If we look at the JSON, we can see that each of these has an underscore ID property. So we can imagine we'll pass this ID in. So we're going to use the find method here. So we'll just say const record equals JSON.find. That's going to pass in, let's say row, and we're going to say row._ID equals not that, but ID from above, and then we'll just spit back that record. Okay, and let's restart our server. And let's grab one of these IDs, and we'll test products/ID. And there we go. We got a single record back. Great. But you can see here we're repeating this code here, so let's just break this out into a function because we don't need to repeat this. So we can just say const get JSON equals a function. And this will, we don't need any async await because we can just return a promise. Totally fine. Get JSON, and we can just say equals await get JSON, and we'll do the same thing here as well. Cut that down a bit. Great. Let's just test it again to make sure it's working. Restart our server and test it out here. Send internal server error, cannot read property find of undefined. And that's because this needs to return the JSON this needs to return this promise instead of just getting it. Let's restart our server. and send it again. Okay, that's working, and just products itself. Great. Okay, that's working great now. Now, we're going to be building an Ember application, and Ember applications expect the JSON API spec, not straight JSON like this. So if we look at JSON API spec, we can see that we're actually supposed to have a data key that's an array, and then each item has type, ID, and attributes. So let's quickly reformat our server so that we're serving back valid JSON API instead of just straight JSON, because once we start up the Ember server, that actually won't work anymore. So let's just do that off the bat here. So for products, we just want to say const JSON API response equals, and we're just going to map this over. So we'll just say JSON.map, and we'll just say item, and we'll just say return, and like we said, each one is a key that has ID, which is item._ID, and then a type, which is we're going to call product, no problem, and then it's going to have attributes, which is actually the item itself, and that's going to be each one, no problem, and then down here is expects the data key, and we're actually going to name this data instead so that we can make this nice and small like that. So let's go ahead and test that out and see if that works. Great, that looks correct. We can, because we're doing this to get a job, this is a code challenge, we can, let's make this a little bit better, and we can do an implicit return here instead and just be a little cooler. You can get rid of this whole indent, make that nice, and all right, cool. So that'll work, same thing. Down here, we'll just say this is the data key, and it's got just one thing in it, and it's got the ID of record._ID, type is product, and then attributes is the record itself. Okay, great. And let's just test out both of these one more time. Test that out. That works. Grab this ID and do /ID, and that works too. Okay, so we've got an API here that's working and giving us valid JSON API. So we are done with the server for now. Time to move on to the client. I'm going to just pop open a new terminal down here, pop into our client folder over here, which has nothing in it. CD, where are we at? We are in code challenge, so let's just CD into the client. I'm going to make a new Ember app, so I have ember-cli installed already. Ember-cli, nope, ember-cli. If you didn't have ember-cli installed, you would need to install it like this, but I already have that, so I don't need to do that. So I'm just going to do ember init, and that should do everything it needs to do to initialize an Ember app. So let's let that finish. Okay, Ember's done installing. Let's run it, see if it works. So we will just do, we can do npm start, or we can do ember s, or whatever you want to do. That's fine though. So Ember's going to start up now. Okay, we're running, and let's just hit localhost 4200. Congratulations, there's our Ember app. Fantastic. Okay, so this app needs two routes. One is going to be for the products, and one is going to be for the product detail. So I'm going to pop open another terminal. So this is where I'm going to do some of my Ember generator work. Let's just make sure we're in the right spot. We are not. Okay, great. So I'm going to generate two routes. So ember-g route products, and that's going to be our products route. And then we'll do ember-g route product. That's going to be our product single route. And then because we're going to use Ember data, we need a model to represent our product. So let's just ember-g model product. And let's start by filling out the model just so we have that. So I'm going to just say model. Why is this giving me all the results? That is obnoxious. Okay. Whatever. App, models, product. Okay. So I'm going to just pull open the model over here. Okay, so we've got whatever. I'm trying to move this view so that you'll be able to see it at the same time as me. I don't know how well I'll be able to do that though. Maybe that'll work. Okay. So let's see. We don't need to do ID or type or anything like that, but we want to do GUID, which is a ds.attr string, it looks like, and then we want to do isActive, which is a ds .attr boolean, and then we want to do a name, which is a ds.attr string, and then a price, which is ds.attr number, and then an image, which is ds.attr string, and then about, which is ds.attr string, and then registered, which is ds.attr string. Actually, that's a date. And then latitude, which is ds.attr number. And then longitude, ds.attr number. And finally, tags, which is an array, so it doesn't really have a format, so we're just going to do attr just so that we can access it as a property. Okay, so that's our model, and we have our two routes. Let's go to the router real quick, and we have to modify product to be able to take the :id, because it's going to need a /id. So we just need to add an object that has path here, and we're just going to say it's /product/:id. That's what we're going to be looking for in the route. So now we've got that sort of route set up the way I need it to be. Okay, so our first step with, well, I guess we're already past the first step. Our next step with the Ember app is going to be, let's get the products page looking like the products page, okay? So given, let's pull up the, let's look at the directory structure here. So given the OG files here, we have a bunch of static files. Let's move those over. I'm going to open a dual browser here and open up the client file. So here in Ember, we've got this public directory. Oh, I was like, wait, all this stuff is there. That says the trash. We want to go to YouTube code challenge client. Okay, great. And inside of the public directory. Okay, there's nothing there. That's how it should be. We're going to go ahead and move CSS fonts and images into there, in the vendor folder. We're going to move these over because that's required to make the app run. We're not going to do these includes, which is PHP for some reason, or those JavaScript files, because we don't really care about their JavaScript. We're just trashing it and just going to sort of wire it up ourselves, because that's the challenge, right? Can't use someone else's JavaScript in a code challenge. So there's the public public file. So this product HTML, we can go back to VS Code now. Let's pull up that. So that's going to be an OG and then product HTML. Okay, so if we're looking at this, we see there's a doc type HTML and the head tag, and then a bunch of stuff, and then stuff in the body. The way Ember works is there's an index.html file, and in here, this is where we actually have our head tag, and then everything else goes inside of like the routes. So we actually need to extract this head stuff out of here and move it into that index.html. So I'm going to grab all this stuff that's inside the head all the way up to title, and I'm going to move that into here. I'm going to do it before the Ember stuff so we could do overrides if we need to. And I just got to fix the spacing here so it looks a little bit better. And so we don't actually need the title or the car set because we already have that, and we don't need the viewport because we already have that too. Okay, great. And then these URLs, well, you know what? I'll let that fail so I can show you that part. Okay, so that's going to be the top of index.html. So that's gone, and then so we just need everything that's inside the body now to go inside of our products route. So I'm just going to copy everything just as it is. I'm going to not include any of this script stuff though. We don't care about any of this script stuff. We just copy right down to here, and so that's going to be under our templates directory. We generated this when we first started this products page. So let's open that up, and there's nothing in here. So let's just paste that in, and that's going to be the products page straight up. I think this whole thing can be indented by 1. Yeah, cool. Okay, so I'll save that. So if we hop back over to Ember, I think we should be able to go to products. And yeah, we've got that. Well, we've got this welcome thing here, so we need to get rid of this. So this is actually in the application template that Ember comes with. So we can actually go to templates and application, and we can get rid of this welcome page component. I'm just going to get rid of this because we don't need it. And then it's actually also in the package JSON. So I'm going to get rid of that from here too, because there's no reason to have the welcome page in here at all. So let's get rid of that. Okay, great. And so we come back to Ember, we can see like, boom, there we go. We've got our app running, which is great. So this is our products route, which looks great. Let's do the product single route as well, because if we go to /product right now, there's nothing here. So let's get that going. So let's go to the OG folder again and pull out the product detail. Same thing, we already cut out the index and all that kind of stuff. So let's just copy this header all the way down to the footer here, right there. Cut that out. And let's pop over to our template here. Where are we? App, of course, templates and product single, and just put that in here. Okay. And so that, of course, it needs to have an ID or else it won't load. So that's fine, and we can see this error now. This is what I wanted to show you before. Why are none of these CSS resources found? And let me just show you again so you can see. The reason all these resources are failing is because they're expecting the URL to be /product, since that's the URL I've got typed in here. So all those things in index.html are actually a problem that doesn't load. And so the way we can fix that is, as you can see here, Ember comes with this route URL, root URL thing. So we actually just need to prefix these. So I'm just going to do a multi-cursor select here and just select all these href tags. And we're just going to add root URL in here and then hit save. And that should take care of it. Great. Now we have an issue with some images not being found, but that doesn't matter right now because we're going to replace those images with dynamic images in a minute, so we don't really care about that. But we've got product, which generally works, and then products, which works well as well. So the next thing is we need to fix some code reuse. So we've got this header. If we actually pull up the product HBS and the products HBS, you can see that we've got some stuff that's the exact same at the top. So if we close down the header, and we close down these breadcrumbs, and we close down this detail, related products, and footer, and then this stuff at the bottom here. This is what the page is made up of. If we go to products, we can go to header, and this title, and this content, and this footer, and then this stuff. If we go back and forth, we can see that this header is the same, this is different, and then this stuff all is the same down here on both pages. So we could make these into components, and in a larger app, you'd probably want to do that. Here, I'm just going to cut these out and move it to the application outside of the outlet so that every single page of this website is going to have these two things. No big deal. So we can close those down like that. Go ahead and indent that, or outdent, de-indent, whatever. So that's going to fix that, and then, so here we can go ahead and just cut out the header. We don't actually need it anymore out of either file because now it's there no matter what. And then we're going to do the same thing with the footer. Let's just copy this footer and cut it out of here. And then we're going to go to our application HBS and put it after the outlet. And then we can go ahead and collapse that down and then fix some spacing here. Okay, so now that stuff is here, and we already cut it out of here, and now we can just cut it out of here as well. And so now we've got our products and our product single page, and they both look exactly like they did a second ago, except now each page is unique to its stuff, and its stuff that it's not unique to is outside of this main outlet, which is where the whole app renders. And we probably don't even need some of these things either, but whatever. We're not going to get into that right now. Okay, so now that we've got these pages running, let's get the API hooked up. That'll be the next big step for us. So when this product loads, the route's going to get hit, and we want to have the model hook go ahead and load in our data. So I'm going to open up here. I'm going to open routes and products. And here we're just going to say model, and I'm just going to prove that this is loading first. So console.log here. Okay, and let's just prove. Okay, great, that's loading. So now what we want to do here is we just want to do a return this.store.find all product to go ahead and make the API call. Now this is going to fail, and let's go over why this is going to fail. Okay, so this says it's looking for 4200/products. Well, as we discussed, our API is currently running on 3000, not 4200. So we actually need to change the URL that Ember data is looking for. And so to do that, we actually have to modify the adapter that's being used here. So we're just gonna, let's just clear this. Clear. So we're just gonna do a quick ember-g adapter application, and because we just need to change some properties of the application adapter. So we can go to application adapter here, and we just need to change the host to be hp:/localhost:3000, and that should change the host to be 3000. And so now you can see we're making a request, to 3000, which is working, and that looks great. So our API is working, but we get another error here, and it says product contains is active, but your serializer is set to look for is dash active. So Ember by default is looking for dasherized properties, and so we could go to the model here. We could go to, man, my search is just not working today. We could go to the product model and we could change this to like is active, but like I really don't like that, and I don't even know if that's actually gonna work properly. I like to keep things camel case, so just as an additional thing to show you, I'm just gonna do an ember-cli serializer application and just generate a serializer. And it actually even tells me what to do here. It says add a key for attribute return key, which basically returns it camel case, like the way it came in. I'm just gonna add that in here, just so I don't like dasherized keys for this kind of thing. So let's just add that in there. Okay, great. So now we don't get that error, and we can use the camel case stuff. So now our API is working, although you can't tell. So let's make it so you can tell. Let's go to the products page. At the top, let's just do a quick log of the model and see what we can see here. Okay, there's our model, great, and you can see the content of that is 30 things. So that's working as expected. So now what we can do is swap out these pieces of grid with, let's make a product box component and let that be the repeated thing here. So let's just actually ember-cli component product box, just so we have one ready to go. And then let's open up this content and find that box and replace it with what we need. So let's come down here to where that is. It's down here, keep going down. Wait, are these the blocks? Product, here we go. So we can, okay, so we can see here that these are the blocks that we need to replace of each of those products. So I'm just collapsing them to make sure that these are what I'm looking for. There they are. Is that all of them? Okay, so these are the blocks we need to replace. So I'm gonna copy this out of here, and I'm gonna hop open into the component we just made, which is the product box component. And I want it to be the handlebars file. Okay, and let's paste that in here. Now, Ember will wrap all of our components with a div. We don't want that to happen, because if we do, then actually let's show you what happens when we do that, and I'll fix it in a second. So I've made a component. Let's just do a quick each of model as product real quick, and we'll do a slash each, and then we're gonna put our component here and just say product box, and let's just say at product equals product, and let's close our box. That's fine. And then we can get rid of all of these things, because there's our thing. Now, if you'll notice, they're all in a line, and that's because the root div is not this like we thought. Now, we could, if we wanted to, we have a couple ways. We could cut these classes out, like, oh my goodness. We could cut these classes out and put it here, and then we could get rid of this outer div, like this, if we wanted to, and that would work just fine. That's option one. Option two is to put it back and to not do the classes, and instead edit the product box JavaScript and actually set tag name to blank, and that will also fix it. Now, I actually don't like this approach. I prefer just making it sort of look the way it's supposed to look here, and I think this CSS belongs on the element here. So I'm actually going to pass that in and go ahead and get rid of this surrounding div. I think that makes the most sense for what we're doing today. Great. And there we go. There's our product box. Let's go ahead and swap out the data now so that it looks right. And so we've passed product in. So in product box here, we can go ahead and change these things. So here's the name. So we'll just do product.name. And here we'll do product.price. And then for the image, we can just do product.image. And there we go. That will switch out the data. It's totally not happy with that. So, and it's not, it doesn't like any of that. Ah, and that's because I'm using, this needs to be an Ember thing. So it needs to understand what that is. There we go. So there's our thing. You can see the names are all different and the prices are all different. The image is all the same because of the random image thing I'm using. If I refresh the page, it's all going to be a different image. It's just the utility that it's using from the code challenge, but that's fine. So that's fine. Now this link needs to work. We need this to link to a product detail. In Ember, that's going to use the link to helper. So that's going to be link to, and then we want to call it product.name, and that's going to link to let's see, product like that. It's going to link to the product route with the ID of product.id. Product.id. Okay, that should be a link to the product. And if we hover this, we can see the URL. This is going to link to product/ID. And if we go there, you can see it does indeed load that. I do want to change one thing here. I don't like how, well, wait a minute, why is this price on the same line now? Did I get rid of something I shouldn't have? Oh, this is a span. I'd like the price to be on its own line. That doesn't make sense to be up there. Okay, that's better. And this price, it used to be a $sign, it's not anymore. So I'm actually going to grab a quick Ember library I use a lot, which is called ember-cli-accounting, which has a format money helper, which is fantastic. You could write one yourself, of course, but this is, I've got one. So I'm just going to pop over to here and install ember-cli-accounting. While that's installing, that means I can just use the format money helper here. And as soon as that's installed, I'll save this. I'll use this helper in a few other places as well. Okay, let's just save that. It's unhappy, and that's because whenever you install an add-on, you actually have to restart your Ember server. So I'm gonna just do that real quick. It is not happy. My Ember linter is not happy with the HTML I've put in there. So in a real project, I might fix all that. But here we go. There we go, and we've got all the prices. So that looks great now. And we've got all these things. Okay, so let's fix the data for here. So this is Laborium. If I click that, this needs to be Laborium with the right price and everything. So let's hop over to the product route. To do that well, we have to actually go to the product route, and we need a model hook here. So here, it's the model hook, and because it's got an ID slug in the URL, we actually can extract the ID from here. And let's just prove that and say ID. And so if we're in here, you can see we get the ID, which is great because we need that for the API call. So we can just do return this.store.find record product and ID. And now we're actually going to get the product that we want, and that means we can come to the product page here. We can open up the product. I'm going to get rid of related products because it's just not relevant to the code challenge. And then let's come down here to this slick thing is all of the images that it wants. I'm going to get rid of these and replace it with just the one image because we only have one image per product right now. So image source equals product. Actually, this is model in this case. Model.image. And then here we can just say this is model.name. And then here we can do format money, model.price. And then here we can do model.about. Model.about for that. And it's not happy with my attribute name. Line 32. Oh, I didn't finish my image tag. Of course. Okay, great. So there's my image, and there's that. These images down here in the footer are not working, and so that's because we have to go to the application HBS, and down here in the footer we have images that need to be linked since we're in a /product route now. So let's find an image here. Okay, so these need to change to be all these sources. All these sources need to have root URL in order to work. if I switch them to slash, does that give us what we're looking for? There we go. Okay, great. So that's root URL there. Well, just the slash, because we want to start images at the main line there. Okay, and that's the Laborium price and everything. Okay, so this page is basically done. I mean, there's no size or anything here. You can see there's a SKU in categories, so let's hook up. We can give the SKU the identifier here. That's fine. That's not the right. Okay, product SKU. Okay, let's give this the ID. Just, let's fill it out a little bit more. And then this looks like a list of tags, and we actually have tags if you look at our API call here, so we might as well use those. I can't just put them there because they're an array, so if I just do product.tags, that's actually going to just print out like, something like whatever, or nothing because it's model, not product. Let's get that right. And you can see like it's, oh, it actually did print it out. Didn't expect it to print it out like that, actually. I expected it to fail in that case. And let's make sure that's the right one. Let's go to Postman and let's pull this over. Get the right ID here. Yeah, those are the tags. That's interesting. I actually didn't think that was going to work. Let's say we want to format this further, though, and we don't want to print it out. We want to add like a comma space, right? Let's say we add a comma space here. So we might want to do a computed property where on the model we have like formatted tags. So we can say like formatted tags like this, which won't do anything because that's not a thing, right? So they're blank. But let's go ahead and make formatted tags a thing on the product model. So we can just open model product. And then here we can just import computed from @ember/object. And then here we can just say formatted tags is a computed property based on tags. And that's a computed property function, and that's just going to return this.tags.join, and let's just join by a space, like comma space, like that. And now we'll have formatted tags like that. So similar. I'm glad it works. That page is done. Okay, so we're basically done with the assignment. It's all wired up now. But I'm trying to get a job, so we're going to go a little above and beyond this assignment and wire up some of this stuff on here. So we can wire up this like pricing thing, and we can wire up like this range. This used to be a slider. We can add this search down here. So let's make some of that stuff work because it's going to be fun and it'll impress everyone. So let's, first of all, this is wrong. 1 of 12 is not right. So let's do 1 of model.length. And then of 16, so let's just say model.length there as well. And now this is going to say 1 of 30 of 30. Fantastic. Okay, let's do this. Let's do the search first down here. That might be fun. So let's find the search input down here. Okay, I'm just going to switch this to an Ember input like this. Boom and boom. I'm going to get rid of actually we can leave everything else the same. We just need to add a value here, and we're going to equal to search value, which is just what's being typed. So nothing else has changed, that you can tell. But if we put a thing down here to show the binding, we can just show this down here underneath of it. And as you can see, as I type, it's showing the value. So it is bound to that search value. So that's working. So let's open up, we need a controller for this products page so we can add some functionality to the page. So it doesn't, when you generate a route, it doesn't give you a controller because you don't always need one, but we're going to go ahead and make one for this so we can add some functionality. So ember-g controller products. So now we're going to have a products controller. And let's go ahead and open that up. So controller products. Why is the searching not working? Controllers/products. There we go. Okay. So now we have our model, which is all of our data, but what we actually want is we want to manipulate the data that's shown to be something else. So on our products here, instead of showing each model, we want to do something like each like filtered data, right? Let's call it filtered products. We want to make this new property that's going to be filtered based on what's been typed. This is going to be blank because there are no filtered products, but let's go ahead and make this this property. So I'm going to import computed again from @ember/object, and then down here we want to do filtered products is computed off of it's going to be off of that search value that we're going to be typing. Okay. And not only is it off that search value, it's also off of the model itself and anything that loaded into it. So we need to be monitoring two properties. So normally if we just do return model, this dot model I should say, we're back to normal, but we don't want to return this dot model. We want to actually return the search value. So if there is no search value, well, we'll get to that in a second. So let's go ahead and we'll return this dot model dot filter, and we want to filter by an item if item dot name dot includes this dot search value, right? So this is going to just return the model filtered by what's been typed. Now nothing has been typed, so at the moment this is going to do that. So let's set up and say const filtered products equals, and then down here we can just say return filtered products. And at the top here, and let's actually change this to a let, because we're gonna build some filters. And actually, we might want that to be a let here. We're gonna say at the top here, let filter products equals this dot model. Let's just start it off with that. And then here, that way, and then here we're gonna just filter the filter products here, like that. Great. And so here, we only want to do this if there's no search. So if this dot search value, then we'll go ahead and filter it by that, because if you don't have one, then we don't want to be doing it. So let's just indent that in. So now this is going to show everything, and you can see that here it has like the Ahmet in it. So if I search for Ahmet, you can see that it doesn't work. And that's because I did not return inside of my filter. And so now if I write Ahmet, you can see we've searched for two things with Ahmet in it, or we can search by like est or whatever, like QUPID, right? Whatever, or non. Okay, so we're able to search, and that works, and that's cool. So let's build off that filter, and we're gonna add in this pricing dropdown up here. That's gonna be a little more complicated because it's doing price ranges, so that'll be a little more fun. So here, let's give everything a value. So value equals, we're going to give this like a blank value and falsy. We're going to say value equals 0 to 50. I'm going to make these things that we can parse later. Value equals 50 to 100. Value equals 100 to 150. And we'll say value equals 150 to 200. And then here we'll just say value equals 200. And then we'll add a quick on change equals, and that's going to fire an action that we haven't written yet, and it's going to just say price range. We can just do price range, whatever. So that's going to call, actually let's change price range. Let's be more explicit. That's going to call change price range. So let's go ahead and add that action. So that's going to add in the actions hash change price range here, and that's going to bring in an event. And we can say console.log event.target.value just to sort of prove what is going on here. And so if we change this to 0, you can see 0 to 150. And let me make the console a bit bigger for easier lookings. Okay, or if I change it to 5100, you can see that's happening. So that gives us a starting point here. So we can just say const range equals event.target.value, and we can say const min. Actually, this is going to be an array, so we do const min max equals range.split on the hyphen. And now we can say console.log min max. And so if we pick this one, we can see 0, 50, 100, right? So we've now parsed the value. So now we can do another filter. So let's set these values and then have our filter at the top just consume them. That way we have just one filter consuming things, and this is just setting properties. So we can just say this.min price equals min, and this.max price equals max, like that. And then up here we'll just depend on min price and max price being set. And then in here we can just say if this.max price, let's say, then we'll say filtered products equals, oh my goodness, filter products dot filter item, and we'll just say return if item dot price is greater than or equal to then this dot min price, and item dot price is less than or equal to this dot max price, and that will give us an additional filter on price. So if I filter by these, then it obviously works really well, and it doesn't do anything at all. Let's see why. And that's because, of course, in Ember you have to use set. So this dot set min price to min, and we're using this dot set because we need Ember to notify the system that we've done this, since it doesn't use setters. Now if I change this, you can see it is filtering on products that all are within that price range, which is pretty cool. So now let's do this price filter. This was a slider over here, and oh, by the way, these are sortable at the same. These are at the same time, both of these. So I can combine both the search and this together, just the way that we've done it here, because we've put this in one function, which is pretty cool. Let's add a slider range here, just one more thing, because this hasn't taken that long. So let's go to range, and here, so let's see here, filter bar. Let's change that to an HTML5, the input type equals range, and let's just say min equals 0, and max equals like 200, and value equals, this is going to set the max, so let's just say max price, which is something we already have. We already have max price, which is pretty cool. And down here, we're just going to set this to format money max, min price, and here we can do format money max price, and then we can get rid of this $sign here. Let's give that a save, and we can, let's get rid of that $sign. Okay, and so if I change this price filter, you can actually see that the slider is also changing, because these things are bound together. And actually I should be able to, as we drag this max value here, that's happening too. Now we probably want this filter to, since it's not a dual range slider anymore, it's a single, we probably want to be 0 to that. We probably want to get rid of this bit here and just say max price, because it doesn't really make sense that way. Max price, like that, and then that way it doesn't show it that way. And then it needs to be, let's see here. What doesn't it like? It didn't like not having a minimum set, it looks like. If I set it to that, and then I do that, no, that's okay. Okay, I think that works. There might be a bug in here if the min price is not set. So let's refresh the page where min price isn't set and see if we get that bug here. So if we need min price to default to 0, because that just makes sense. So let's just say min price is 0 to start. And if I do this, that does it. Cool. And so we've done that, and we can do that with the with the filters. These all kind of work together. And we could do sorting and these other things, but I think I've wired up enough things that I've impressed the person reading this, so they can see some functionality that I can write. So this is just a quick, well, I guess it hasn't been quick, but there you go. That's a how-to on building a master detail with Ember and running the Koa server and sort of filling out a work code challenge. Thanks.